You're about to watch Rich Channing's Leicester Square Theatre podcast. It's free. Please tell your friends about it. That's the least you can do. If you want to contribute to this, if you feel this was worth some money, you can make a contribution in return for a badge. GoFasterStrike.com/badges. You can either do that monthly, which would really help us out, or just one-offs. Or you can just make a one-off donation and not get a badge if you like. You can also come and see me on tour. Go to richchanning.com/gigs. You can do all sorts of... Come and see us live here at Leicester Square Theatre. There's some tickets for some of the remaining shows. Or you can just buy a DVD at gofasterstripe.com. They've got a crazy sale going on, apparently. Put gofasterstripe.com/sale to find out about that. Thanks for listening. Now watch Rich Channing's Leicester Square Theatre podcast. I am Rich Chilling. It's weird saying that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Leicester Square Theatre. Please welcome a man who isn't even the go-to guy when they're looking for someone with his face. It's Richard Herring! Hooray! Hello! Oh, I can tell already you're much better than last week's audience. I can tell that already. So, I can tell just from the start. This is Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast, but someone just came up to me just backstage and said, you know what I call it now, instead of Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast, I call it Leicester. It's catching on. Let's have a quick chat to the audience. Our guest this week has to dash off to do a proper gig. So look at this man looking down at the floor. That's what he's looking. So he's thinking, if I look down, Rich won't pick on me. That is my. If I act like a kind of what's that animal that puts its head in the sand? I want to say stork. Thanks, Andy. You're really helping. I'm acting like a stork. That's right. I'm going to make some margarine down here. No what. What's your name?
Teo.
Pardon?
Teo.
Teo, like the Irish crisps. I know there's a Tato. When I went to, I was going to say Berlin, I'm really fucked. I don't know what's wrong with me. When I went to Belfast last weekend, the first thing you see when you get off the plane is a vending machine saying Tato on it. Thinking, welcome to Ireland, have a potato. Teo, that's nice. What do you do? That's like, are you the child of hippies? Yes, yeah, I got that. But you now work in computers. What's that? Yeah, what's that? What's that? How did that happen? Is that rebelling against... Yeah, you were rebelling. I'm like a psychic, aren't I? It's amazing. You're thinking, you've not been before. How's he doing this? It's just, that's everyone who comes. So what do you do with computers? IT?
I'm a business analyst.
You're a business analyst, which is IT, isn't it? It's the same thing. What's the best business you have ever analysed? And what was it good compared to? It's a hard question. What's the most exciting thing that's happened to you this week?
I got lost in Putney and had to spend an evening in a hotel.
You got lost in Putney and had to spend an evening in a hotel? Is that what he told you? Is that what he told you? And then a man jumped on me and bit me all over me and scratched me and ravaged my penis so it looks like a little nub. How did you got lost in Putney? You could just say, where am I and how do I get to the tube? You missed the train. So there's buses from Putney, or a cab. It's not like, you could just walk over the bridge. I run down Putney. You know, part of the film Sliding Doors is filmed in Putney. When you look at it now, it's when they drive, they're rowing. He's a rower, I'd forgotten. I just watched Sliding Doors last weekend again to punish myself. And I'd forgotten that the guy, as well as reciting Monty Python sketches, which would mean you'd never get a girlfriend, he's also a rower, which means you would never get a girlfriend. And he doesn't look like a rower. Anyway, look out for that next time you're in. Are you going to go back to Putney or are you scared? Where did you stay? Whereabouts in Putney did you stay?
I ended up getting all the way to Earl's Court and stayed in the Highlands.
You got to Earl's Court? Then you thought, right, well, I'll never get back to civilization tonight from here. Were you very drunk? Is that what was happening? You were a bit drunk. And what's your name? You seem nervous as well. And you haven't learnt that's what I pick. I pick up on that. It's like, what's your name? Nikki. And you with Teo? You married to him? No, don't get married. He can't even find his way out of Putney. So, what do you do for a living?
I work in construction.
You work in construction. I'm astonished. I also thought something so appalling to say that I really, it was terrible. It was genuinely awful what I thought. And I nearly said it, and then I thought, thank God I didn't say that. Do you actually do building yourself, or do you design buildings, or do you just order the bricks? Is that what you do? Okay, that's good to know. I was excited. I thought you were like a builder. Have you ever built a thing? If I had some bricks and said, could you make a wall, could you do that? Yeah, that's good enough for me, because I can't... You wouldn't sit on it? Well, I'm not going to sit on it, it's a wall. I think I am. I'm not Humpty Dumpty, am I? I'm a human being, I'm not an egg. I said egg. So, let's crack on, because our next guest has to go off, as I said, do a proper gig. He's a proper working comedian. You may have seen him. He is best known for his appearance on Spicks and Specks. He's also been on, like our last week's guest, he's been on Spicks and Specks, and we didn't talk about that last week, so you were assuming, and actually what he said, Brendan Burns, you would assume he was a disablist, but I don't think Spicks and Specks has anything to do that. Will you please welcome the amazing James Acaster, ladies and gentlemen? James Acaster, come on in, here he is, sit down, pick up a microphone.
Thank you.
If you want to find out about the badminton match that James has just paid, you'll have to pay £1 a month to watch it. It's really good. It was really amazing. What is Spicks and Specks? Because that's what you're best known for, but people will want to know what it is.
Spicks and Specks is an Australian panel show about music, where you're encouraged by the producers not to be, I quote, all mean like on Buzzcocks. They're very anti, never mind the Buzzcocks on Spicks and Specks. Yeah, they're like, so mean on Buzzcocks, they're so bullying. Everyone's bullies on it. And don't be a bully, and just be nice and be supportive. And then you kind of sit there as an English comic going, I don't know why they think I'm going to be bullying and stuff. And then you listen to everyone else on the panel being nice, and you think, oh, these soft bastards. You genuinely get a little bit like, why are you being so nice?
I really like all music and all musicians.
It's really weird how like suddenly you kind of say something positive.
Yeah.
As a compliment to someone, and everyone in the audience laughs. You go, why are you laughing? You're all looking worse than me if you think that's funny. If you think me saying, oh, you're a really good song, that's not... That doesn't make me feel good if I'd written that song. Someone said good song and everyone laughed. So, it's weird.
So you just come across as sarcastic, is that what you're saying? Well,
I think so. Well, I do anyway.
Yeah,
so I think that's the problem.
You do a little bit. So you were out in Australia in the spring this year. Yeah. Where you win and you won, because this is unusual for you. You actually won the award.
I didn't win anything.
Did you not?
I won something in New Zealand.
Oh, that's what.
But
count, does it?
But that was Melbourne didn't even get nominated. It was weird.
It's
weird feeling. I didn't like it.
Because you've been nominated 3 times in a row for the Edinburgh Comedy Award, whatever they call that now.
Yeah.
I think they've called it the Richard Herring Award. Just
they do call it that.
Out of respect for.
Unofficially, they call it that.
Yeah.
They go every year. They go, well done, in the herrings again.
And Al Murray was nominated 3 times for that award in a row, and then I think won it the 4th time.
He did, yes.
So is that you're hoping that next year will be your year?
No. I think I would be insane to wish that on myself again. you have. I mean, it's fine. It's nice now to be able to go 3 times in a row, but. It's a hellish month of everyone going, is it this year? Are you going to do it this year? And you're going, I haven't entered anything. I've come here with a show to do my show to people because I think it's funny. And then everyone's like, oh. Like at the end of this Fringe, the Times, I'll say Alex Hardy for the Times, just put me on the front cover of the Times magazine as a sad clown, which is a photo that existed anyway.
Yeah, well, you walked into that one.
Yeah.
That photo.
Shit, obviously, anything you do, you've always got to think about how journalists are going to use it to crap on you. But like, I had a picture of me as a sad clown. And she just put it as the main photo on the front cover of the Times magazine with better luck next year across it. And you're going, that wasn't... she was on the panel as well. Yeah. And you're like, that's not... I didn't enter it. This isn't me going, I'm going to win, everyone, and announcing it and going, watch this, I'm going to win it. And then going there, you go, oh, I think this show's funny. I hope people think it's funny and come and see it. I'm trying to get better as a comedian. And then she goes, no, try again next year. You go, what? 3 times in a row? I can't try again.
If you ever kill yourself whilst dressed as a clown, they're going to use that picture.
They'll use it. They will love it so much.
That'll be great. Go, look, is there a picture of him looking sad? There's a picture of him dressed as a clown. It's like, brilliant.
Double whammy, better luck next life. Unlucky, mate.
So, I saw you on, I was talking about this backstage, but I saw you on Mock the Week last week. Was that your first time on Mock the Week?
It was, yeah, first time.
It was a very confident debut.
Thank you.
It was very, and I thought it was quite. I don't really watch Mock the Week very often, and I only chanced across it, it was quite interesting. So there was like 3 new, and I'd say newer comics, but kind of established on the stand-up circuit, but newer to TV. So it was you and Josh Widdicombe and Sarah Pascoe.
Yeah.
And then there was the old guard.
Sure.
And felt to me like there was a sort of slight. Was there a tension in the studio between the different? The older comedians and the younger comedians, because it felt to me, watching it, that I'll say this because I know all of them, the older comedians were doing quite hack and obvious jokes, and then the young comedians were coming in and doing their good stuff, and the older comedians like going, oh fuck, they're gonna replace us with these people who can actually do proper jokes that aren't just work to a formula. Is that how it felt to you in the studio?
What do you want me to say to that, Rich? Genuinely, it did not feel like that in the studio at all. I felt like a kid on his first day of school. They're very Mock the Week, because there's a lot of like, you start off here, then you go over there and you do a bit of stand-up, and then you come back, and then this happens. So there's a run-through in the daytime where I felt like a little kid who was just there for the first time. Yeah. And looking at
there's a run through.
Yeah,
I thought the whole thing was just ad-lib.
Yeah, well, it is all improvised, but. So I was just kind of like... Also, I felt like the worst kind of kid on a first day at school, because I knew Josh and Sarah. So I think if you go to a different school and you know someone, you kind of glum onto them all day, just like... And I felt like that. I was like, in the run-throughs, looking over at those guys, like... And, hey! And so I looked even lamer. And everyone was very nice and welcoming. And I know Ed Byrne anyway. He's always been nice to me. And the other guys, I'd never met them before, was great. So I felt... It is the most I've enjoyed, I think, doing a panel show, and I've enjoyed a lot of them, but like that one, because you're all comics, and you're in a little semicircle as well, you're not at opposite ends of the room. And I thought, because of like, and they know it's got this reputation as well, because they say it to you as soon as you go there, like, it's really competitive and really alpha male and all this, and actually, it was the least like that I've ever done of anything. It was just really great.
I think it's changed, because I actually stopped watching because I didn't like it. It was too... Yeah. I just didn't like that alpha male-esque thing that happens backstage at a lot of... Or used to at comedy clubs, that everyone's trying to outdo each other. Yeah. And now it seems a lot more accepting, to be fair. I am being... It's like you did a very good bit of observational comedy about cheese grater. It was very good. And it just kept on... It cut to like...
Thank you very much for watching.
Cut to Hugh Dennis going... And so it just made me think, he's thinking, oh, fuck. He's there, he can do, like, proper comedy.
It was nice. And also, I think, like, obviously, on the record, everyone seemed to be having as good a one as anyone else. Yeah. And it is just, I think, it's just that now they're mixing up the genres of comedy a bit. Yeah. So you will watch it and go, those three look stupid. But someone else will be watching it going, these 3 new kids are a bunch of shit. And I like the old guys. So it's like it's a bit more of a mixture, which allows you to find your place in that world and do it. And just go, where do I fit in here?
No, of course. And it is good. And in all seriousness, I mean, I think that it's the problem with a lot of these panel shows have existed for a long time, and there's a lot of people with their feet comfortably under the desk and don't have to try as hard. So new people will come on and try hard, and it'll be... it just shows with something like that you don't necessarily even have to have the I'm not saying Andy Parsons and Hugh Dennis should never be on it again. But... not saying that. But if they were on every other week, then it wouldn't... It's difficult to go in every week and do, to do that stuff. You could, if you were in every week, you would go, I've used up my cheese grater routine now. I'll have to do the apple and the orchard one. And then I'll have to do the apricot
slowly burn through until I'm doing just like, Yoko Ono material that I thought I'd never do on TV. It would be quite hard. And like, like the stand-up round was just me and Josh. Yeah. And it used to be, there was 6 of them all going up and doing a bit of stand-up. And now this is weird to have just me and my mate, who 3 years ago we did a free Fringe show together that no one came to. You're just there going, This is fun, but yeah, there was no. So I think there's less of that going on.
Yeah.
Now.
Cool. And you have been. We talked about Jaycee Long was on, and we talked about a car crash that she had, which you were in.
Responsible for.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to.
I was driving.
But have you had 3 car crashes?
3 car crashes that people should have died in. Yeah.
Were they all your responsibility?
All of them were my fault. Yeah, all of them was me. I fucked up, and yeah.
Where did the Jaycee Long car crash come in the triumvirate?
Third.
It was the third one.
Each one got worse than the one before it. To the point where, the one with Josie, I remember just standing by the side of the road, just going, I've really got to stop driving because, that car is buried in logs, and there's a log lorry there that's upturned, and the driver of that lorry he was the only person who's ever got angry at me as well. After the other car crashes, all the other times I've made people crash, they've all been quite nice to me, but that one, the guy he got out, and he couldn't get to me because there was a sea of logs in between me and him, so he just did a very clever trick where he just went, "Are you okay, guys? Which one's the driver?" And I went, "Oh, it's me." And he was like, "You're a fucking cunt, mate." And I was like, I walked into that so bad. And then obviously Josie was there going, "That's not very nice, is it?" I was like, "I'll be nice to him."
Accurate. So you tried to you tried to overtake quite a long log lorry.
Yeah.
And there wasn't room to do it, and you had to sort of pull into the log lorry.
Yeah, well,
which then dragged you.
But by
into
the time,
a field
by the time we got to the corner, we still hadn't overtaken the lorry, and 4 cars came around the corner head on with us. So I had to steer in between the cars and the lorry, and the car at the front of that went into a ditch, and I remember being by the side of the road and seeing a man coming out of the car, and they gave him a Zimmer frame, and then he was losing that to walk, and I was like, "Oh Jesus!" And then a policeman went, "Don't worry, you already needed that."
Which you could sort of assume from the fact that he had a Zimmer frame.
Yeah, but in your head at the time when you're in shock.
I'm glad I put that Zimmer frame in the car in case of accidents being crippled.
I was in a weird position where I was like, "Oh, good, I'm glad that all I did was make a disabled man crash his car." That's no harm done. If you could all come to the accident pre-injured, it'd make me feel a lot better.
At what point after the car crash with Josie did you say, "Who's going to do the routine about this car crash"? How long was it?
Pretty much. I didn't say anything. I thought, I'm never going to do this as comedy material. And then we were literally in the car on the way back from the crash, and she went, "Can I do this as a thing?" "Yeah, if you want, you psycho." Yeah. But and then on my way home from that car crash, I got in a train to go back to Kettering, and my train nearly derailed because it hit a falling log. That's what happened. And
then it rolled down the hill
it was like it had just been rolling ever since the crash, and then our train. But when the train started to derail, when the train nearly derailed, it started shaking, and I knew it was nearly derailing because I've been in a train that's derailed before. When me and Josh Widdicombe were on a train to Leicester, and our train, the wheels just dropped out the train, just fell off the train, and the whole train just went onto the ground, and for about 5 minutes was just going really fast on the ground, so that all these stones and rocks were arching over the train and smashing the windows, and then it stopped, and then we were delayed for 5 hours because we were waiting for a rescue train, and then the rescue train got there at night, so they had to go to the fire brigade, and then that took another hour, and then the fire brigade and the rescue train people argued about what side of the train to evacuate us on. That was another hour, and it's awful. And I remember getting on the rescue train and seeing a guy go to we got on, and then we were told the buffet was free on the rescue train. It was free. So I saw a guy go on, and his wife was right at the other end of the carriage, and he went on, and he got a free Stella, and then he turned around to his wife and pointed at it and went, "Yeah!" It's like, mate, it was not worth it. Your whole day's ruined. He's like, "Free booze! I told you!" I love rescue trains.
And what were the other two? Were the other 2 car crashes? No one's died in any of these.
No fatalities, no injuries.
Right.
Apart from the pre-injured. The second car crash I had. The first car crash was 8 days after I passed my driving test.
Yeah.
and I had my parents' Ford Fiesta, just went too fast around a corner on some back roads, and just like pinballed it against a hedge for a bit until it didn't work anymore. I was balancing on 2 wheels at one point during that, the 2 right wheels, and just doing that, and kind of going, I know that if this car rolls, I'm going to break my neck, because it's a Ford Fiesta. I was just getting ready for, it's going to go that way, and I'm going to die. And then it went all back on 4 wheels again. I was very relieved. And then the second time was the first car, or the only car I've ever owned, and it was when I was in a band, and we had our very last gig, which was in North Yorkshire. We had a very long drive home, and about 20 minutes from home on a dual carriageway, I fell asleep and smashed into a lorry going at 80 miles an hour. 0 fatalities. But yeah, that one was pretty bad as well. That one was like no front and back to the car at the end, and all the windows exploded, and we lost our bongo. It's pretty gutting.
So you're sort of Frank Spencer, but uncharmed though as well. It's like
Final Destination kind of.
Yeah, no one dies.
No one dies. Yeah, Final Destination people die, don't they?
Yeah, they do, but that might, if it's Final Destination, they might start dying in the order they should have died in.
Yeah.
Though, to be fair, it would only be the first car you crashed that would be the case, which would be you.
Me. Oh, and there was actually 2 other people eventually involved in that. When there's like, my car stopped in the middle of the road, and 2 cars were coming very fast, one towards me, one behind me, and then they both saw me at the last minute, went to overtake and hit each other.
Why are you allowed to drive again?
I'm not letting myself drive anymore.
Is there not a point when Joe said, "Do you want to drive on the tour?" You went, "No, I won't.
I thought for that
I won't do that."
Now I say no.
Yeah.
But for that one, I was like, I've only crashed twice, and I'm not going to crash again. So,
Law of averages.
Yeah, it'd be fine. I probably won't crash. And the weird thing is that when I'm not crashing, I'm very safe. Like, I'm a really safe driver. I'm very cautious and careful, so I didn't really think, and also it was annoying, because it was the first time I'd driven since the last time I'd crashed was Josie's tour, because my insurance had gone back to normal by then.
Right.
You had to like wait 3 years. Here's a little trick you can do. When you do write your car off, just don't drive for 3 years, and it goes back to normal. Yeah, I really know all the loopholes. So it was really annoying, and then I was like, okay, I should stop, because every time I've attempted to drive for a bit, it's ended in this. So. Just leave it now.
Be nice, it'd be nice to do one where someone died, though, wouldn't it? Just once.
No.
Oh, okay. That's just.
I always think that's why I like driving. If I did do one and anyone got injured or died, that feels bad enough as it is, I guess. But let alone when you kind of go, you have to answer the people going, "Have you ever had anything like this happening to you before?" Yeah, I've had about 3 warning shots before this, and then I just decided to carry on anyway, and I killed that guy. Oh, it could have been avoided, very much so. But I don't want to get on trains because they're not very safe either.
So you worked at Wicksteed Park, is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is that in Kettering?
That is in Kettering. It's
I don't really know Wicksteed
one
Park.
of the country's first theme parks.
Oh, is it?
Roller coasters. I was on drinks and ice creams.
Okay.
I was just on in the oak tree.
Well, they don't want to let you near the roller coaster, for guys. So
driving that. Hey, Castor, you got a pretty good sense of direction. Yeah. So I was doing. I was just drink fizzy drinks and eat ice creams all day.
Right.
It was very quiet when I worked there. I was in the off season, and there was 2 hatches, one for ice creams, one for drinks. And there was ice blasts, which are like fizzy slush puppies, and then the actual fizzy drinks. So I spent all day mixing them to see what the combo was best. And I'd go onto the ice creams and just eat ice cream all the time. And I don't know how I've not got diabetes. It's ridiculous. But, that was my first job, £3 an hour.
That's not bad.
It was pretty bad.
You do 10 hours, 30 quid.
Yeah, sure. That's good maths. Excellent maths there. I should have, I didn't work that out at the time. But it's me, Sanj and Chen. I remember my first day there thinking that's when I realised, when you think, I don't know about you, but my whole life I was like, I am going to do something creative. There's no way I'm going to do a normal job. Yeah. And I had that in my head all the time. So I put off getting a proper job for as long as I could. My mum made me get the Wicksteed Park job. And she said it would be fun, you'll enjoy it. So I've been so silly about what to do other stuff. Like, fine. I went there the first day, Chetin showed me around the oak tree. And we got to the hot drinks machine. And he went, so you put like tea in there and coffee, and this was the hot chocolate powder. It comes in a packet, and you open it up. And one time, right, I opened it up, and all the hot chocolate puffed in my face. And then later on, I sneezed, it tasted like chocolate. I remember thinking, I do not want a normal job. I can't become like that. If that becomes my main story, that I tell people at this time I sneezed and it tasted like chocolate, I'll kill myself. I was like, I can't do it. So yeah, it was really pushed me to. That
is the kind of, well, sometimes when we watch old Bullseyes or stuff like that, those kind of quiz shows where they ask people about, they have one funny story and it is something like that, and you kind of think, that's the only story you have from your entire life. Yeah. I mean, if you go on, they won't be able to do the quiz. Just going through the accidents.
Let me tell you a funny story, Jim.
You were born in 1985.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, I was.
Fucking hell.
Who just made a sound there?
I could have had sex by then.
I had shaking his head.
I could be your dad if I'd had sex.
I don't understand. It's a thing, isn't it? Every time you say when people were born, it's like, oh, God, he was born in... As if you didn't know people were born in 1985. That's a thing, mate. Everyone, there's not a year in history where it was like, everyone take a break for a year. If you're pregnant, hold it in.
Just feels like, to me and that elderly gentleman there...
Sure. Just deal with it, mate.
Anyone born in 1985 would be about 6 now. Yeah. That's what it feels like. So if you be sitting here, probably 17 years old, it's making... Like, no one can do maths in this audience. They are actually going, oh, he must be...
He's 17.
Yeah, he must be 17. He was born in 1985. Yeah, he's 17.
Sitting there all pubed up in front of you.
It's terrifying. I didn't have sex till 1987.
Oh, really?
So, you're a couple of...
I remember those first 2 years of my life were very dull and boring, and then the world changed. I was 2. Everyone seemed happier.
There was a crossover where we were both virgins, and that is something that should not have happened in any correct
so much in common those first 2 years.
Talking of sex, I have been to the Dirty Britcom Confessions website. Have you seen this website?
I know of this website, Jesus.
Brendan Burns, not on it. Not even, and he's not British, but there's a non-British section.
Yeah.
No one wants to have sex, despite his claims that he looks like Matthew Broderick, and that he used to be really sexy. Nobody. I mean, and I tell you, there are some ugly cases on there.
There's some real surprises on that website. Yeah.
There's a couple. There aren't too many for you, but this is the main one for you.
I think not.
I'd like nothing more. Nothing.
This is the person's number one thing they would like in life.
In the whole of their life, than to go shopping for jumpers with James Acaster.
This is a dirty confession, isn't it?
It gets dirty towards the end.
Yeah.
And then wrap ourselves in knitwear and cuddle up to watch stupid movies all night.
Yep.
And then I'd like to fuck him.
Sounds about right.
That's what it's building up
That's
to.
what I'd do. I want to go shopping for jumpers together.
Yeah.
Which is not my idea of a good time. And then snuggle up in knitwear. Is that like we're both wearing jumpers, or we've made a little nest of jumpers and we're just all cocooned in there?
I don't know. I guess it's up to you to iron that out with the person you're doing this.
Yeah, she's the one making the... I should get
or
to call
he.
the shots.
We don't. It could be a he.
Could be a he. Who knows? They'd like to fuck me.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be a he. Yeah, I hope so.
You hope so?
Well, do you know what? I have a weird thing that whenever I meet a gay man who says he fancies me, I just feel great.
Okay.
I almost feel like I'm even more liberal.
Yeah.
Because gay men fancy me.
They haven't looked at you and discounted you as said you're that man's clearly homophobic and wouldn't have sex with me.
Unless that's the turn on, but you know.
Some of them like that.
Yeah, some of them do, don't they? Some of them love it. But yeah, I always like it.
When I first met Paul Sinner, he said to me, "I used to really fancy you," and I said, "What changed?"
Yeah. What did change?
What went wrong? I don't know. He didn't have an answer to that. It was quite embarrassing.
Yeah. It was that. Did he fancy you until 1987?
Until you lost your virginity. It was,
It's been done now.
Yeah, it's terrible. So yeah. I'll ask you an emergency question, because things went wrong for me there. When I went, And,
oh, really?
So, do you ever get mistaken for a different celebrity? Have you ever been mistaken for someone else who is famous?
Only Josh.
Really? You and Josh?
Yeah, I've been mistaken for Josh Whittaker before. It'll be at comedy clubs. So they've seen me do a gig, and so they've gone, it's a comedian. Oh, I've seen them before. And they come up to me afterwards, and it's always like takes me a while to realise they've mistaken me. So like I'll be loving the compliments. Going, mate, you're brilliant. I've seen you loads now. So I say, oh, you're really great on all your TV stuff. And then they'll go, oh, I really love you on The Last Leg. Oh, it's not me. It's not me. So yeah, sometimes, but it's only ever Josh. It's because they see me do stand up, and then on Mock the Week actually, my nephew, my 2-year-old nephew. Watched it with his dad, and apparently as soon as he saw me, it was like Uncle James. But then for the whole episode, confused me with Josh for the whole thing. Would get very confused for the whole thing. So, you know,
to me, you look a little bit like a young Rod Hull. Have you ever been mistaken for a young Rod Hull?
Yeah. Well, see. Born in 1985. I don't know who that is, mate. No, I've never been mistaken for a young Rod Hull.
As long as you don't go around with an emu.
Yeah, it'd be weird.
It'd be all right if you're walking around with an emu
on a roof.
Yeah.
But like no one's ever said to me, "Are you a young Rod Hull?" Because there's so much that they would have to be assuming there.
Yeah.
You know, and also I'd have to break it to them. It'd be awful, wouldn't it? Because like you came back somehow.
Could have cloned him, because a clone is not like a direct copy. A clone would be.
Yeah.
You cloned Rod Hull. You could do it now if you could find some of Rod Hull's DNA.
Where would that be, Rich?
Maybe.
Go on.
Trapped in some amber.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
It's a mosquito.
You could take that out and you would make it. If you made a Rod Hull clone, it wouldn't be like a 60-year-old man running around on a roof. It would be a baby.
That's not what he did, is it? He didn't just always run around on roofs, just like from roof to rooftop, like a thief in the night.
Who knows?
But when he died, it's like, well, it was going to happen sooner or later. We told him. It's only a matter of time before he fell off one of these roofs.
Or another way he could have cloned himself was to have sex with your mum in 1984.
And my mum, yeah.
And well, you know, you could have been the result.
That would definitely not happen. She's a saint.
Okay.
And also, although she,
well, not so much of a saint,
she is a bird lover. She does like bird watching and stuff like that. So he could have seduced her. Just like lure her in with the emu. And then,
if he came in with the emu, she'd go, oh.
Yeah, with binoculars. And I've been looking, and then probably she just take him off for a while, just to like whatever readjust, and then just be his cock.
And he had quite an impressive, by all accounts.
Did he?
Yeah.
Quite. Did he? By all accounts,
very impressive.
Who did you hear that?
There's all sorts. I have met Rod Hull, and he was a bit of a ladies' man. Let's say. Let's say if he hadn't fallen off that roof, he might be in the papers now for a different reason.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
But no, there was a documentary they were all in the 1970s. It didn't matter what you did.
Yeah.
As long as you were on TV, it didn't matter how ugly you were. I'm not saying Rod Hull's ugly.
Sure, mate. Just keep it going.
I was thinking of some of the other ones.
Some people want to go. Some people want to go jumper shopping with me, so bear that in mind.
Didn't matter if your job was to run around squeezing the testicles of small boys with your hand covered in a bird costume.
Yeah.
Women were interested in you, would have sex with you, and then you became the king of that domain and assumed all women want to have sex with you. That is my theory. The 1970s and 1980s, sometimes incorrectly. You know, if they'd all thought to have like a puppet on the end of their hand, more of them would have got away with it. You know, they would have.
There's quite a lot of puppets were a lot more common back then. So I think a lot of them probably did do that. Was it Gordon the Gopher, Ed the Duck?
For me, the ventriloquists and the puppeteers, because Rod Hull isn't even a ventriloquist. That's the.
No, what he
could just do that. That was his.
He didn't even talk, did it?
Didn't talk.
It's just nasty. Just a way of.
The thing he learnt was to do. I mean, that's the skill. Was.
Yeah.
That's essentially what his job was. It was very funny. I loved Rod Hull.
It would have been out of order for him to have an act where occasionally he punched people. Just been standing there like that with his arm.
If it was Parkinson, he just came and jumped on him. Yeah, it would have been awful.
He got Parky, didn't he?
So yeah, but like Ted Rogers, again before your time.
Yeah,
that was his job. That was what he could do. It was very easy to get on the TV in the 1980s, 1970s.
Very clever. Very clever.
Anything hand-based, people were very. Just people couldn't in the night. People just.
What was that one you did?
Couldn't believe.
Is that the emu again?
That's Ted Rogers.
Oh, hold on, Ted Rogers. Yeah.
What's
What's
impressed
the
by
puppet?
That's Emu.
What's the puppet Ted Rogers has?
He didn't have it. That was there. We didn't even have a puppet. That's,
Oh,
that's
3,
what
2,
he
1?
did.
Did he do 3, 2,
That's what
1?
he did. I mean, if he put a puppet on that, he might have got 15 years out of 3, 2, 1. But it was like there was a little
Just doing that.
gerbil jumping around. It could only have the
And
dexterity.
screwing a light bulb.
You just need 3. You could have 3 different holes inside the puppet.
Yep.
And then do and then
Just
be.
Each 3 could be. Yeah.
It could have been like an expressive, amazing puppet he could have done.
2 arms and a face.
Did you ever meet when you were a kid? Because I was thinking maybe I talked about it in this one of the other podcasts. But I met Don Estelle when I was a kid. He was from Ain't Half Hot Mum. That's before your time. And I was rude to him. And I met Ted Rogers and was rude to him.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet anyone
Any celebrities?
In 1996?
Yeah.
It could be me, couldn't it? That's the terrifying thing. To you, I am Rod Hull.
Yeah.
And to the,
You're
the
the one
police
that-
force of 2035. I am...
Me and my mates are just like, why doesn't anyone know? It's clear what he's up to.
Did you ever... Because when you get to be sort of a teenager, you start getting a bit kind of, I've seen someone off the TV, and then you meet them in real life, and then you're rude to it. Did you ever do that? Because I did it to 2 different celebrities.
Oh, did you? I was never rude to any of them.
No.
I was quite... I waited outside a curry house in Kettering for an hour to get Barney from Napalm Death's autograph.
Okay.
There you go. So a little bit of a cheer. Very nice man. Very polite man. Very polite. And I met Jet from Gladiators. And
wow.
She was very cool. But no one would be rude to Jet from Gladiators.
No, you couldn't. Well, you might be just by...
No, she's like a head psychologist on Big Brother. Did you know that?
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
She's
Big
still
Brother,
called Jet.
She's still called Jet. And just scissors everyone. But like... trying to learn about the housemates. It's really inappropriate, Diane.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, I met Jet as
Where
well.
Where did you meet Jet from Gladiators?
North Walsham County Fair.
Okay.
Yeah, her and Hunter, but I left that out because
Yeah.
Cobra. It was Cobra. Cobra, who used to lift weights on his dick. Did you know that?
What, during the fair?
Not during the fair. But that was what he did.
No, I didn't know
Before he was
that.
a gladiator, a lot of them have their stories of what they were doing
Okay.
beforehand. Some of them were like Olympians and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Proper. And he just used to.
He wasn't an Olympian.
No.
That wasn't the Olympics.
He just used to be part of a freak show where he lifted weights with his dick.
Oh, was he? Was it
And
like...
he got in Gladiators off the back of it. Don't know where the Gladiator scouts were going to get their. And she's an Olympian. I was going to probably in this freak show see if they got any. He's impressive. I can think of a good name for him. Cobra. Right on.
Could be. If you had to choose between going on a date and having full sex at the end of the date with a man who was a 6-foot penis, but dressed up as a man, and he had he had eyes in his head, but he is still a penis. If you looked at the top of his head, he might be wearing a wig, but at the top of his head is a blowhole.
Yeah. It's not the technical term, is it? A blowhole. Depends
It
what
is in this circumstance. He might be wearing a suit where he looked like he had shoulders, but if you took off the suit, it would just be like a Rod Hull false arm.
A false
illusion.
arm.
Yeah, it'd be a false shoulders and false arms.
A cock.
So it's just basically a 6 foot.
Circumcised?
It's a good question. No, he's not, because he's from the UK.
Not circumcised.
He's not circumcised.
So he's got
like
a big foreskin there.
Yeah. Or you could pull that down
Like
as a roll neck jumper.
Okay. Where are his eyes?
He's got a human face. Obviously, he's got a human face in
the human
his
face? Because if the human face is on the foreskin,
yeah.
then if it peels back, his face is gone.
It's underneath the foreskin.
It's underneath, but then he's got to have it peeled down all the time. Otherwise, when it goes up, he can't see.
It keeps it peeled down.
Well, he can't always keep it peeled down.
He can.
He can't always.
If he's riding up, he pulls it down.
Always, constantly readjusting his foreskin. Always.
Yeah. That's one of these.
Constantly pulling his foreskin back in front of you when you're talking to him so he can see.
Oh. Once you're, if he's erect, it's fairly out of the way, isn't it? I mean.
Oh, yeah, so he's got to always be aroused. Because what if he's sleepy?
Well, he wouldn't be sleepy on the date if you kept him entertained. If he starts shrinking
Yeah.
on the date, you know you're having a bad time.
Yeah.
So
I guess when he is sleepy, it's okay, isn't it? 'Cause he can just have a little sleep, just pull it up and have a little sleep inside the foreskin and then put it
That's
back
what
down
he
again.
could do.
When he wakes up.
That is the first choice. Or just a regular man.
Normal man.
But instead of, he looks completely normal, but when he takes down his trousers, it turns out instead of a penis, he has another tiny man.
Tiny little man.
In place of his penis, but not his,
attached to
his balls are still there, but his penis has not been replaced.
Yeah.
Just the way he's grown. That
Yeah.
another tiny human being,
Little boy.
5 to 9. It's a grown man.
Right.
But it's fine. No, we're not getting anything seedy here.
I'm just trying
he's probably
to
5 to 8
understand why
inches
it's
high on average.
Okay.
But he's a little
pretty
man,
good.
and he's not like a clone. He's not like you and Ruttall.
Yeah.
It's like a different man. Maybe they got fused together in the womb somehow.
Is he
I don't
going
know.
out from? Is his feet the bit that's
Yeah,
attached, or his head?
Yeah, I'm not gonna have it so it's a man. His head's
What?
burrowed
Because
in the
that'd be stupid.
pubis. Yeah. Kind of monster.
Why would that be silly?
Yeah. Just his legs in, and no one's gonna want that, are they? Like a man.
No one's going to want it anyway.
No,
No one's going to want anything to do with that.
out of the choice you might want it between the two. It's like two different men. You've got the man you can talk to and then his little friend.
We've always found a sub-question in it. Would you rather have it attached by the head or attached by the feet?
We'll ask that next week.
But if it's attached by the head,
Yeah.
then if he gets strong enough,
Yeah.
he could walk around with him just on his head sometimes. So he could get a chance. It's his turn to walk around, and he could be walking around with a guy on his head. He goes, "He's attached to me, actually." Just have it like that.
Okay.
I don't know why it always has to be like you'd be delighted to be attached by the feet and have his head just sticking out there all day, not ever being in charge. You're helpless, aren't you?
Yeah. It's a good point. So which of the two would you prefer, the giant penis foreskin?
Sure.
Yeah, or the man with the tiny man? Either way, the way up of your
I
preference.
think I would definitely prefer the tiny man for a dick because if you're going on a date with them and stuff, you have more people you can maybe hit it off with.
Yeah.
If you don't get on with the big guy,
Yeah.
you might get on with the little guy and think, oh, he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then you
It's
can
true.
continue to see him on dates. Whereas with the man who's a penis and pulls his foreskin down a lot, it's down to him having an amazing personality. Otherwise, it's going to be a horrible evening. So, I would rather go for the two. Oh, also, the man who's the little man penis.
Yeah.
Is he facing down or is he facing up? Can they make eye contact or not?
You could do that.
Just look over his shoulder all the time. But are they like when he? Also, when he gets erect, what happens? Does he actually get erect? Does the little man fill with blood? Does the little man get all full with blood and hard, or does he just have to?
I think it'd be very hard to get erect if you had a tiny man. I think you'd be embarrassed.
Does a tiny man have a tiny cock, or
Well,
does he
I
have
was
an
going
even
to do
tinier
a
man?
subsidiary question. Was going to be what if the tiny man has instead of a penis also has a tiny man and so on to infinity. And also then you step back a bit from the normal man and realise he is in turn the penis of an even bigger, gigantic man.
Who I just live on and I didn't realise.
It's like an island. It's like Gulliver's Travels or something.
Yeah.
You haven't realised you're walking on the other guy, who is in turn, and so on to infinity, the cock of another even bigger man. And it goes all the way round until the really biggest one is the cock of the tiniest man.
In the world?
Yeah, well, in the progression.
It's a circle.
So it's just a circle.
It just eats itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that sounds horrible. I mean, that's nothing in that I'd like.
It'd be scary though, wouldn't it? That's why I'm
very
saying
scary.
you've chosen that one, and then it's only later you realise.
But there's always going to be a clause. I mean, I would think going on a date with either of those people, there's a catch. I think this is too good to be true. It can't just be that he's got a little man cock. There's got to be something else going on here. And I'd find out later on, it's just the infinite men cock. So, oh yeah, of course it is. Of course. But how do you even satisfy him?
Well, who cares?
Well, I do. I'm quite a considerate lover.
As long as you're turned on by it yourself, that is all that matters to be.
And there's no question about that.
No, okay. Where do you get your crazy ideas from?
That's not the real question. That's not.
I've never been asked that question before, have you?
No, I've never been asked that, no. Well, it doesn't usually follow the man-cock question.
Because I'm looking at you thinking, how do you think up the stuff you think up?
Yeah.
With my crazy man-cock. Okay, we won't ask you that, really. No, that's all I've got for you. Done the Dirty Britcom confessions. I've done because you got to go and if you haven't seen James live, go and see him live. Are you one of the 110 comedians touring at the moment?
Yeah, I am indeed.
Off the back of your Mock the Week success, what chance have I got against youngsters like you?
Yeah, unlucky sucker.
Yeah. Go and see him live. Where are you? When are you on tour right now? Or
I am right now on tour.
Until when?
Until early December.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. JamesAcaster.com for tickets.
Well, I noticed on your website that your news refers to a gig you cancelled in Oldham in 2013.
Yeah,
that's the last piece of news that happened in your life.
I've ever been on there.
Yeah.
To do news. It's like, I've got to cancel a gig. It was a tour show that had sold about 5.
That's what I guess. I read between the lines. I didn't want to ask you about it because it says due to unforeseen circumstances. And I thought could be that he's killed someone in a car crash.
There was something else, but I can't remember what it was. But it was one of those things where I could have moved the other thing around.
Yeah.
But I was like, how many people in Oldham? 5. Can we cancel it, please?
Yeah.
This is unforeseen. Don't
go to Oldham. That's what I've learned.
I've only ever gigged in Oldham when I was in the band, and they followed us out to the car park and booed us out of the car park. Yeah.
That's weirdly quite nice and polite though, compared to what they could do. I mean, I've done gigs where they followed you out to the car park because they want to kill you.
Yeah.
But to go just to follow you out and go.
They just carried on booing. Fuck off. And it's saying fuck off and stuff like that. But it was just in the car with them all kind of surrounding us and like the Beatles, but people don't like you at all. So for our whole gig that night, we were just getting abuse shouted at us. They hated us.
What was your band? What kind of music was the band you were in?
That band was an experimental kind of jazz pop band.
Okay.
Funnily enough, Oldham
wasn't ready for it.
Not like it. Yeah. So but it was silly as well. But we used to go on stage with these homemade outfits that had yellow Velcro ties onto just that came off of the t-shirt and went on them, and there's loads of different shakers and a didgeridoo and stuff like that. And there was 2 of us playing loads of different instruments. We thought it was fun, but people who didn't like it got very cross that we were just ruining their Friday night when they wanted to dance or something, and where they're doing stupid time changes and pauses and stuff like that, and being smart asses. Yeah, they didn't like it at all.
And what other bands were you in? It sounds like you were in lots of bands.
Yeah, before that I was in a folk funk band called the Capri Sun Quartet. Very good band. Before that I was in a post-hardcore band called Freeline Whip. And before that I was in the new hardcore skiffle movement, which is a punk band. Before that I was in Pin Drop, which is a new metal band. They're all my bands.
It's pretty impressive. Were you doing comedy at the same time as this, or were you concentrating on your music?
I wanted. That's all I wanted to do was be in a band, and I started stand up. I did a stand up gig, a few gigs while I was doing music still, because I was very bored. I had a lot of time on my hands, so I thought I'll do some adrenaline things that I can always say I've done them. So I did a skydive and stuff like that. I did some stand up, so I could always tell people I did stand up once, and because I didn't care. It was easy.
Yeah.
That's the tip to anyone. If you don't give a shit, it's really easy. I go on and just not care, and everyone else on the bill will be open micers really trying hard. And I'll go on and make it up, and I'll be walking off going, it's so easy. I'm one of those idiots. And then as soon as I decided to try, I had the worst death. It was so bad. And Holly Walsh was there, and Holly Walsh is my friend now. Yeah. But she still reminds me of that gig to this day, saying that it's the worst death she's ever seen. Wow. And that when she saw me, she was like, there's no way he's ever going to make anybody out of this. He's so shit. As soon as I tried, it was so hard.
What were you doing? Do you remember what
I do remember what I was doing. Yeah. That gig she saw me, I was talking about my second car crash.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I thought I'll go on and talk about that. That'll be funny. And it wasn't funny, and people just thought it was a horrible story. And then I walked off going, oh, that's first time I've actually tried to plan something, and it went really bad.
It worked all right here tonight when you talked about it.
What's weird about it is that I told my friends about the car crash and they'd all laughed, and I wasn't trying to be funny with it, so I thought, well, I'm not even trying to be funny with the story, and apparently it's great, so I'll just go and do it.
See, what you forgot was the comedy rule of 3. It only became funny after the third car crash.
Hilarious.
You had to go out and have that car crash.
Josie called dibs.
And that was the moment it all turned. Do you believe in conspiracy theories? Have you got any? Because I was reminded when you talked about the Beatles. I was talking about last week about Paul McCartney's not the real Paul McCartney.
I love that one.
A lot of people still believe that, which I
like
find
that.
hard to believe. Are there any that you believe are true, or that any you believe are?
Have you seen the Meat Free Mondays video?
No.
Paul McCartney. You should watch that. I watched it today.
Right.
It's amazing. It's him telling people to get involved with Meat Free Mondays.
Right.
But he starts singing a song during it and putting on a very dodgy accent.
Really?
Yeah, like a Jamaican accent.
Okay.
And the video ends with him going, "You can do it right now, please." And it's really weird. It's Paul McCartney doing that. So
have you seen Paul
it.
McCartney when he was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with because when I was really tired last week and I couldn't sleep, and I ended up sort of going through loads of, I think it came from some Paul McCartney song on YouTube. I ended up going through all these Paul McCartney videos, which a lot were about conspiracy theories, but I'd forgotten one was him on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Heather Mills, where Heather Mills, and it's so weird watching Paul McCartney, A, being on something as stupid as that, and B, all the way through you're going, just give them the money. Don't do the questions. Oh, you've won £32,000. Yeah. Oh, like less than I've earned in the last 40 minutes just sitting in my arse.
Yeah. Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit?
Well, wasn't even using his lifelines, didn't care. Just blazing through us, taking a guess. I didn't give a shit.
It's very, very bizarre.
How much are you giving him? $1 million. Stingy bastard, Tarrant.
It's very odd to see him. I mean, there was a lot of things that were wrong with the Heather Mills-Paul McCartney marriage, but her persuading him to go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was because he did so little TV. In the 1970s, 1980s, he was renowned for never doing interviews. Yeah. And then suddenly for him to be doing something like that. Oh, well.
What do you do Mondays? I don't believe in any conspiracy theories, really.
No.
I spent a weekend with some conspiracy theorists recently for a thing, and that was pretty full on. That's pretty. They were always filming me on their mobile phones because they believe in like just documenting everything in case, because people don't act up when you're doing that. Yeah. And they were protesting fracking as well. Yeah. They were in a camp by the side of the road next to a fracking site, and there was a point where loads of police came down. And they were like, all the anti-frackers came out with their phones, were filming the police and right in their faces, going, "What are you doing here, officer?" And we're filming their taser and all this, and going, "This is what they want. It's what they're doing." And then I asked one of the anti-frackers, "Why are they here then, the police?" And he said, "Oh, some youths went past with cameras filming us, so one of us phoned the police." Like, yeah, but so why are you asking them why they're here? It's like, what are they doing here? You phoned them. Why, they got a taser? You said there was threatening behaviour. They've come down to protect you, and you pranked them. There's no way they're going to help you out now. So, kind of, you come up against that kind of thing, you kind of go, "Oh, maybe not going to be a conspiracy theorist." But I totally got it. Like, I was hanging out with them and going, "Oh, yeah, they're loving this." Like, they weren't all conspiracy theorists, but those that were really enjoyed. Like, there was one guy was telling one of the young lads, like, "Go to the end of that field, take this walkie-talkie, and like, tell me if you see anything weird." And I was like, "That's great fun." They really enjoyed it. They could tell they were like, "Yeah, I'll go there, and I'll radio you." And like, if me and you went to a field tomorrow, and I said, "Rich, I genuinely believe, like, there's police are watching us all the time. You go over there, you do that," and we had that adrenaline going through us all day long. We'd be loving it. The moment we realised we're just two grown men in a field, running around with some walkie-talkies, going, "All clear here, James," or that, that it would we'd be very sad.
Do you want to do that?
I'll do that with you. Yeah, we can make like a web series of just me and you going around fields and playing with walkie-talkies. Go, "Rich, run over there, check the coast is clear," and then you just play it. It's fine. Yeah. And it was always fine. It's always fine. It's always fine. It's the whole thing.
How sensitive are your nipples? Would you say?
Not very. No, disappointingly.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Isn't it? That doesn't seem fair. Why is that worked out like that? That men. I mean, some men do though. Some men have really sensitive, womanish nipples that become aroused and are big. And I mean, I'm guessing. I haven't.
Yep, sure.
I haven't really looked at many men's nipples in a state of arousal. Yeah. It's why don't we get that? Because mine are now chafed.
You
due to run. Well, because I was running and I didn't lube them,
well,
so they're chafed. Well, yeah, but I sort of like it because at least
you enjoy it.
Well,
so
they're
you can feel
alive
them.
at least now. They they feel now.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
It's very disappointing, isn't it? I had a girlfriend trying to tease my nipples once, and it was the most. I felt like such a letdown.
Yeah.
I was like, there's nothing there. Just
because
for
to
show.
them, if you do that to them, it's really nice. But if they do it to you, it's just like, stop, get off.
Yeah.
And then there's that moment of embarrassment. And they go, oh, well, I was trying to be nice. I go, well, it's not nice. It's just weird. Leave my nipples alone.
And then you're having that kind of debate naked.
Yeah, and
then it's the worst, isn't it?
And it's wrecked it.
Sitting there naked having a really serious chat about like your nipples.
It's not fair, that's what I'm saying. Well, I'm going to find out. That's what I'm going to find out. How are your nipples, Teo? Are they sensitive? Erect. Are they erect? Do you ever play with his nipples? What? I'm not filming you while I ask you. I understand this is a sensitive question.
Have you got a bit of history with these two? Because I've just got here. And I don't really,
just for we met earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Would you ever do... I mean, that's not that perverted. Just, just have a little tweak with them. See, yeah, you give it a go. And you like it. That's not fair. I don't like saying that.
He says he likes it. And you didn't even know that until now. This isn't the kind of environment you want to learn that in, is it? You don't want to learn about his nipples in front of loads of people. They're just as up to speed as you are.
So I'll ask you a couple of... people got annoyed with me last week for not asking the old emergency questions, but I don't think we need them. We've got that penis man. That's going to last forever. That will never get old.
Yeah,
that penis man thing.
There's
nothing. There's so many scenarios to go. I think you've probably done them all. You've done 3 more than I could ever have imagined would have come out. Have you ever tried to suck your own cock? James Acaster.
I think, as a teenager, I did. Well, like once, and it's really horrible. Hurt my back. I gave up very quickly. I remember it wasn't like a thing where I was like, I'm in this for the long haul. I'm gonna do this by hook or by crook. But like, I didn't. I feel I kind of went down once and went, that's not happening, and then stopped. Never tried again.
Good.
God, that question's quite embarrassing anyway, but it's worse when people just listen to you like it's a serious thing. Like when they all just sit there going,
they've heard.
Okay, well that's something about you, is it, mate?
But what I like about that question now is that it started off as an ad-lib thing that I asked everyone, and that was funny for a while. Yeah. And then it's become just a thing I really don't like to do. And sometimes I don't enjoy it, and the audience don't particularly enjoy it because they know what's... They've heard every possible answer.
You knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But I quite like the discomfort that it creates now. And like when I was talking to Danny Baker, he was amazing. It's really funny, and he's having and I asked him, and he went, "Oh, now you've ruined. Now, why did you have to make it blue and all?" And I was gonna, my daughter was gonna listen to this, and now she can't listen to it, and it really ruined the podcast for me. Yeah. Which makes the podcast way better. I think so. So the fact that people are sitting there listening to this, going, "Oh, he's gonna have to, at some point. He's gonna," especially when it's not matter for you, because who cares about you? Yeah. But when if it's like someone if they say Michael Palin was on, or someone like someone I massively respect. Yeah. Then. Get a fucking grip of who you are, James Acaster. Sure. If it's you or Michael Palin, if I have to build up and ask lovely Michael Palin, he's never going to do the podcast, but that's in my dream scenario of it. And then I'm having a lovely time and we're getting on, and think, Michael Palin's actually going to be my friend. Yeah. And we're going to go. I'm going to do that thing James said he would do and that we didn't do, where we go with walkie talkies in a field. We're going to do. And then I have to say, Michael, have you ever tried to suck your own cock? And they'll go, oh. But that is great art. Yep. So that is the fact. Tracy because Emin. It's my own discomfort that's the excitement that people know. Oh, he's trapped in a maze of his own making. He has made when he first came up with that, Shane thought, "Oh, this is brilliant. I've got this thing that'll be funny forever." Not seeing into the future, knowing that one day it will be a millstone around his neck. And the people listening at home are thinking all these subconsciously. They haven't, until I pointed this out. Yeah. They haven't, because unlike Stuart Lee, I don't explain why my stuff's very clever. Usually, I let people work it out for themselves. Yeah. It's created a bad atmosphere.
No, that's too true. Everyone's sitting there going, "Oh, that's what he does, isn't it?" It is.
Right. Well, you've got to go dig it, because I'll ask you one more question. Have you ever seen a ghost?
No. No, I've never seen a ghost.
It'd be really good if you had, because this is the last question.
It'd be great, wouldn't it, if I had seen one?
And then it would...
I thought our house was being burgled once, and I went downstairs in the night, and I saw a light moving across the bookcase that was like very clear that it was a torch moving across the bookcase. So I got very scared that there was a burglar in the house and woke my parents up and no one was in the house. But I didn't for a second think that was a ghost. But I definitely saw very clearly a torch moving across the bookcase.
Well, was there a torch being shone there?
No, I don't
then
think
that
so.
was a ghost. That was the ghost of a torch.
There's a torch ghost.
Yeah,
the torch
there's
ghost.
no reason why they wouldn't have that.
A little light, just
like the ghost of a torch that once was.
Batteries had died.
Yeah, and then it came back and I remember when I did this.
I used to light up the books.
Yeah, it's all
in the Acaster house.
All right, we'll try one more question because that didn't really work as a final question. So I'll just try.
It's a very.
Hopefully
that question is quite.
Hopefully we'll do better with this one.
Quite a chance.
Have you ever seen a Bigfoot? Hopefully you have, because then that will really be a good end. I hope you have, because it'll be a really good end to the
I've never seen a Bigfoot either, no. I've never seen a Bigfoot.
Fuck's sake, because that was going to be...
So sorry,
this is a new one. What is the worst place you have been sick? Because for me, I'll give you some thinking time, the worst place I've been sick is onto my own diarrhoea.
For your legs in the toilet?
No, I was once, when this is the last time I was really ill, and I was nearly ill in Wales, and it reminded me of this experience, was where this question came from. I woke up, it was my birthday, 6 o'clock in the morning on my birthday. We'd been out and had a big weekend. I was in Ipswich, which made it worse. I thought, I've got to go to the toilet. I went to the toilet and it was awful diarrhoea. And then as the smell of my own diarrhoea hit my nostrils, that made me feel a bit nauseous. I thought, well, that's probably... And then I realised I was going to be sick. And there wasn't time, so it wasn't time to flush. So I had to turn around and then be sick into the toilet on top of my own diarrhoea.
And you hadn't wiped your butt yet?
I don't think I had, but the bum was behind me, so that was... I wasn't worried about it. And to be honest, by the end of that morning, where it was a wonderful release every time I was sick, and I'd go to bed for an hour, and then on the hour, it was like a clock chiming. I would then have the same thing and have this awful sickness for 6 hours in a row until I was bringing up something that didn't look like anything that was ever been inside a human being. Like I felt like I'd vomited up my own soul. But it was kind of wonderful as well. Have you ever been anything like that?
No,
okay.
I was sick on the tube on New Year's Eve 5 times on the way home. So that was I just got very, very drunk. I was drinking spicy Dr. Peppers all night, which is just spiced rum and Dr. Pepper.
Oh God!
And just drinking them all night, and then and then I went to a different party for midnight and said, and then what are you drinking? I said spicy Dr. Peppers. And I told them what it was, and they went, well, I haven't got any Dr. Pepper, we'll make you something similar, and then gave me like a pink drink. I didn't have a clue what it was. Right. Drank that, and then instantly felt like I needed to go home. And it was I was living with my girlfriend at the time, and it was our first Christmas together, and New Year's together, and she had to go home with me while I was sick. Only in the tunnels, not on the actual carriages, but I'd get off. Oh, I see. I'd have to get off a lot, be sick, and then it was awful. It was really, really bad.
This is actually making me feel slightly nauseous. I don't know if I'll ask this question. Charlie Brooker's actually got emetophobia. It's actually the idea of being sick.
Oh, really?
Makes him afraid and can't stand it. So
yeah, some people, a few people. My friend's girlfriend is terrified of people being sick. Right. So that she can't, if he's going to be sick, she has to pretty much get out of the house. Yeah. And so he can puke, and then she comes back in.
Well, on that, I think, It's not, well, you have to go and do another gig, so we're going to have to end it on that. Do check out James on YouTube and his tour, because it's absolutely fantastic stuff. His stuff about bringing an apple to an orchard is amazing, so check that routine out. Please give a massive round of applause to James Acaster, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming. Back next week with Steve Coogan next week. It's just Steve Coogan. It's not a big deal. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. How'd you like them sky potatoes?